Alex stepped out of the small, cramped lab with a deep sigh. The fluorescent lights above hummed softly, their dull glow reflecting on the scattered tools and half-repaired machines around him. Another long day of tinkering with alien tech had left his muscles sore and his mind buzzing. The colony was supposed to be a place of discovery, a hub for human researchers to explore the unknown. But some days it felt more like a prison, with walls closing in and machinery taking the place of companionship. He shuffled toward his apartment, dragging his worn boots across the metallic floor. The scent of heated metal and recycled air clung to his jacket. He was ready for a shower, a few moments of privacy and warmth, away from blinking lights and the constant hum of machinery. As he reached his small door, he fumbled with the key panel, muttering to himself about the day's failures. Finally, a soft click announced that the door had unlocked and he slipped inside. The apartment was modest, almost bare. A small kitchenette sat in one corner, a few shelves held personal items, a worn photograph of Earth, a tiny bonsai plant that seemed determined to survive, and a stack of books Alex never found time to read. The bathroom door was slightly fogged from the warm steam he had started to run. He shrugged off his jacket and boots and headed inside. The water hit him with a comforting warmth, washing away the dust and sweat of the day. As he closed his eyes, letting the water cascade over his shoulders, he heard a faint, almost musical giggle. It was soft, light, and impossible to ignore. Alex froze, gripping the edge of the shower stall. At first, he thought it might be a trick of his mind, a leftover imagination from too many late nights alone. But then it came again, a curious, high-pitched sound like someone marveling at everything around them. His heart raced. He called out, "Hello." "Who's there?" But the sound only echoed back to him from the tiles. Then he noticed it, a shimmer, faint but unmistakable, flickering just outside the bathroom door. Before he could move, the door slid open. Standing there was a small alien girl. She was no taller than a human child, maybe 3 feet at most. Her skin glowed faintly, translucent and shimmering, as if it were made from liquid light. Large, expressive eyes dominated her face, reflecting curiosity and innocence. Her small hands, delicate and strangely flexible, hovered in front of her, moving in patterns that Alex couldn't understand. He swallowed hard, wrapping a towel around himself instinctively. What are you?" he stammered. The alien girl tilted her head, studying him silently for a moment. Then she pointed at the water streaming over him and made a soft, melodic sound. It was almost a question. Alex blinked, unsure of how to respond. She didn't seem threatening, just fascinated. I'm showering," he said slowly, as if explaining something obvious. "This is how humans clean themselves." She mimicked the motion of the water with her tiny hands, swirling them in the air. A soft glow pulsed from her skin as she tried to understand. Her movements were graceful, deliberate, and careful. Alex realized she was studying him, trying to make sense of something completely foreign. Despite the situation, a small laugh escaped him. "You're really curious, huh?" The alien girl tilted her head again, making a sound that seemed like agreement. Alex noticed that she didn't have a uniform or tools, nothing to indicate that she was part of a mission. She looked completely alone, small and fragile, yet her eyes held intelligence far beyond what he expected. "Okay," he said cautiously. "I won't hurt you, but you can't just walk into someone's apartment like this." She stepped closer, the soft hum of her presence filling the bathroom. She reached out her tiny hand toward the towel he had wrapped around himself, then withdrew quickly when he raised an eyebrow. It was clear she had no idea about human customs regarding privacy. Alex sighed, realizing that arguing would be pointless. He needed to understand who or what she was. "All right," he said, "let's start simple. Can you understand me?" The alien girl's eyes blinked rapidly, her glowing skin pulsing in rhythm with her curiosity. Then she made a series of musical notes, soft but patterned. Alex frowned. It wasn't language, at least not like humans spoke, but there was intent in the sounds. She was trying. He grabbed a small piece of soap from the shelf and held it out. "Soap," he said. "We use this to clean ourselves." She touched it lightly with one finger, examining it carefully. Then she touched her own skin and her glow intensified. She was learning. Alex realized that this little visitor wasn't just curious. She was studying him, perhaps trying to understand humans for some larger purpose. He couldn't tell if her people were watching, or if she had simply wandered away from somewhere unknown. "Okay," he muttered to himself, "let's see what we can figure out." He pulled out a small whiteboard from under the sink, wiped it clean, and drew a stick figure of a human standing underwater. He pointed to himself in the drawing, then to the figure. She watched intently, tilting her head, her glowing eyes following every movement. Then she took her tiny hand and made shapes in the steam on the mirror, mimicking what Alex had drawn. It wasn't perfect, but it was close enough to show understanding. He couldn't help but be impressed. "You're really smart," he said, smiling for the first time that day. "I don't know what your people think, but you're already doing better than most humans at learning quickly." The alien girl made another melodic sound, a sound that almost sounded like laughter. Alex laughed too, a little awkwardly, realizing that the tension in the room was easing. He had come face to face with something entirely alien, yet there was a strange innocence about her. Suddenly, he noticed movement in her appendages, extra fingers that flexed and twisted in ways humans could not. She reached out to touch the water again, and Alex realized she had no concept of heat. He carefully guided her hand away from the direct stream, showing her how to touch it safely. She recoiled slightly, then touched the water more cautiously, as if learning through trial and error. "Good," Alex said. "That's how we do it. Carefully." As minutes passed, Alex found himself talking more freely, explaining human habits in the simplest terms. He demonstrated brushing teeth, washing hands, and even how to blow bubbles with soap. The alien girl mirrored him, glowing brighter with each successful attempt. She seemed fascinated by the simplest things: a human towel, the pattern of water droplets on the floor, the way skin reflected light. It was strange, comforting even, to have someone share the moment with him. He realized that despite the bizarre situation, there was something profoundly human about connecting with another being, even one so different. But as the initial panic faded, reality crept back in. This alien presence, no matter how innocent, was a risk. The colony had strict security protocols for unknown life forms. Unauthorized aliens were considered a threat, and he could be in serious trouble if she was discovered. He gently stepped toward the door, keeping one hand on her small shoulder to guide her. "We need to be careful," he said. "If anyone finds you here, it won't be good." She blinked, her glowing skin dimming slightly. She seemed to understand the warning, mimicking his cautious steps. Alex led her to a small corner of the apartment, away from the main hallway, and gestured for her to stay there. "I won't leave you alone, but we need to stay out of sight for now," he said. She nodded, her body pulsating softly in what he guessed was agreement. Alex wrapped himself in a dry towel and finally stepped out of the shower, water dripping from his hair. He leaned against the sink, watching the small alien girl as she explored the corner with cautious curiosity. She had picked up a small, empty glass and examined it, turning it in her hands, studying reflections, weight, and balance. "You're amazing," he said softly. "I don't even know your name, and I already think you're amazing." She made a series of musical tones, softer than before, almost shy. Alex realized that she didn't just mimic curiosity. She had her own personality, her own sense of wonder. As the evening light filtered through the apartment window, Alex began to wonder about her origins. Where had she come from? What was her civilization like? And most importantly, why had she come to a human colony to study him specifically? He realized he would need to keep her presence a secret, at least for now. But beyond the worry, there was a spark of excitement he hadn't felt in years. For the first time since arriving on the colony, he felt like he was part of something larger, something incredible. And though he didn't know it yet, this small, curious alien girl would change his life in ways he could never have imagined. The night stretched ahead of them, full of possibilities, laughter, and learning. Alex leaned back, letting the weight of the day ease from his shoulders, while the little alien girl glowed softly in her corner, watching, learning, and perhaps beginning a friendship that would alter the course of human and alien interaction forever. The apartment was quiet now, save for the faint hum of the colony outside, and the soft, rhythmic glow of a tiny being who had wandered into a human's life and refused to leave it unchanged. Alex had spent the night trying to communicate with the small alien girl. He had taken to calling her Luma, a name inspired by the soft glow of her skin. The colony's morning light filtered into the apartment, bouncing off her shimmering form, casting tiny reflections on the walls. Luma was busy exploring a corner of the room, her little hands twisting and turning objects as she observed every detail. She moved with grace, yet there was a childlike curiosity in her every motion. Alex made breakfast, careful to keep one eye on her. He poured himself a cup of hot, recycled coffee and sat at the small table. Luma wandered over and examined the cup. She tapped it lightly, causing the liquid to ripple. The soft glow on her skin pulsed brighter, a reaction Alex guessed was amusement. "Careful," he said, smiling. "It's hot." He handed her a small metal container with water instead. She touched it lightly, her glow dimming slightly, as if satisfied that it was safe. Over the next few hours, Alex taught her more about humans. He showed her how to eat with utensils, how to open containers, and even how to fold clothes. Luma was a quick learner, though she made mistakes that caused both of them to laugh. She often mirrored Alex's expressions, tilting her head like he did, or furrowing her brow when confused. Alex realized that despite her alien features, she shared the same fascination with the world that humans did. Luma had her own ways of teaching Alex too. She would lift her hands and make glowing patterns in the air, tiny geometric shapes that floated and shimmered before fading. Alex watched, fascinated. He had never seen technology or biology like this. Somehow, her body could manipulate light in ways he could not yet understand. She seemed to want him to see the patterns, to study them like he was studying her. "Are you showing me something?" he asked. She made a sound, musical and soft, then pointed to his hands as he tried to trace the floating shapes. It was a game, a way for her to communicate without words. Alex chuckled. Hours passed, and Alex felt a strange sense of companionship that he had not experienced since leaving Earth. The colony was full of humans, but interactions were often cold, limited to work or protocol. Here, in this small apartment, he felt understood, at least in a way that didn't require words, but reality crept back in. Alex knew that the colony's security systems would detect an unauthorized alien presence. The sensors were sensitive, designed to prevent unregistered life forms from entering human living areas. Luma was safe for now, but only for a short while. He checked the small console near the door, scanning for alerts. Sure enough, a faint red light blinked. The security drones had detected unusual life signs. His heart raced. He could not let them find Luma, not when she had done nothing wrong. "Okay, we need a plan," Alex whispered. Luma watched him, tilting her head in her curious manner. He realized she understood the urgency, even if she didn't grasp the full danger. He moved swiftly, gathering small items that could help: mirrors, reflective panels, and a few small gadgets from his lab. Luma followed, mimicking his movements. She was careful, understanding the need for caution. Alex explained the plan as best as he could. "If the drones come here, we need to make them think the apartment is empty." Luma blinked, her glow pulsing in rhythm with his words. He pointed to her and tapped his own chest, trying to convey that she must hide. She nodded, crouching in a small alcove near the kitchen, her form blending with the shadows. The first drone arrived, sliding silently down the corridor. Its sensors scanned the room, beams of light sweeping across the apartment. Alex held his breath, hoping that his improvised shields and Luma's natural glow manipulation would be enough to confuse it. The drone paused, its sensors whirring. For a tense moment, Alex feared they had been discovered. But then the drone moved on, the sensors indicating no life detected. Alex exhaled quietly, relief washing over him. Luma peeked out from her hiding spot, glowing softly, a silent question in her eyes. "That was close," he whispered. "Too close." She nodded, her small form vibrating slightly in what he guessed was relief. Once the drones passed, Alex decided it was time to take more precautions. He set up a small area in the apartment where Luma could safely hide, surrounded by reflective panels that would scatter any incoming sensors. He also placed small devices around the room, emitting subtle signals to confuse any drones that tried to approach. Luma watched, fascinated by every tool he used, her curiosity never waning. The afternoon was spent teaching her more about humans. Alex showed her the concept of games, using simple objects to play catch and stack. Luma's agility amazed him. She could manipulate objects in ways humans could not, her extra fingers and dexterous hands giving her an advantage in almost every task. Yet, she still made mistakes, dropping objects or spinning them incorrectly. Alex laughed more than he had in months, enjoying the small joys of this unusual friendship. "I think you're learning fast," he said, "faster than I could have imagined." She made a soft, musical sound in response, tilting her head in what seemed like a smile. As evening approached, Alex prepared a small meal. It was nothing fancy, just reheated rations and a small fruit substitute from the colony supplies. He offered Luma a bite, showing her how to hold it properly. She mimicked him perfectly, taking a cautious nibble and then glowing brightly in approval. Alex laughed at her enthusiasm. They ate together in companionable silence, a quiet moment of peace amidst the tension of their situation. Alex could not help but wonder what her world was like. Was she alone? Was she on a mission? Or was this simply a chance encounter that neither of them would forget? After dinner, Alex suggested they explore the apartment more. He wanted her to feel comfortable, to see that humans had spaces designed for living, not just work. Luma wandered through each room, her glow pulsing in different colors, reacting to new sights and sounds. She touched the walls, ran her fingers over the furniture, and even peeked through the small window, fascinated by the colony outside. "Do you like it here?" Alex asked. She tilted her head, her eyes reflecting the distant lights of the colony. She made a series of soft tones, almost musical, that Alex interpreted as curiosity mixed with wonder. He realized that she was not just learning about humans. She was learning about humans' environment, their way of life, their daily routines. Everything he did became a lesson, a story, and perhaps even a report for her people. The night came quickly. Alex decided it was time to rest but knew he could not leave her alone. He set up a small area with blankets and soft padding for Luma to sleep safely. She curled up in her corner, glowing faintly, her breathing calm and even. Alex lay on the small cot nearby, thinking about the day's events. He had expected solitude, routine, and work, but instead, he had found something extraordinary, a connection with a being from another world. It was thrilling and terrifying at the same time. He knew their time together was limited, that the colony would eventually discover her presence. Yet he could not bring himself to send her away. In the early hours, he was awoken by soft noises. Luma was moving, her glow pulsing gently. She had noticed his restlessness. She climbed onto a small shelf to get a better view of the room, observing him carefully. Alex smiled, realizing that she was as curious about him as he was about her. "Don't worry," he whispered. "I'll figure this out." She tilted her head as if she understood and made a soft, musical sound that made him laugh quietly. It was a strange comfort, the sound of her voice, or whatever it was filling the room. Over the next few days, Alex and Luma developed a routine. He taught her human habits, and she, in turn, showed him strange abilities that he could not explain. She could manipulate light, create small illusions, and even change colors based on her emotions. Alex documented everything secretly, knowing that such knowledge could be invaluable to humanity. But with every passing hour, the risk grew. The colony's security systems would not allow her to remain hidden indefinitely. Alex had to prepare for the possibility of confrontation. He reinforced their hiding spots, refined his distraction devices, and even practiced simple tactics with Luma so that she could avoid detection. Despite the looming danger, their bond deepened. Luma began to imitate human emotions more convincingly, smiling when pleased, tilting her head in curiosity, and even making soft sounds that resembled laughter. Alex found himself sharing stories about Earth, about the humans who had built the colony, and about simple joys like sunsets and rain. Luma absorbed everything eagerly, her glowing skin pulsing brighter whenever she seemed fascinated. One evening, Alex was repairing a small device when Luma climbed onto the workbench. She examined the components, her small fingers delicately touching circuits and wires. Alex marveled at her precision. "You're really good at this," he said. "Better than most humans I know." She made a soft, musical sound, tilting her head in what he guessed was pride. It was in that moment that Alex realized something profound. Luma was not just a visitor, not just a curiosity. She was a mirror, a reflection of humanity's own potential for learning, adaptation, and connection. Through her, he saw the wonder of discovery and the beauty of understanding another being, completely different yet astonishingly familiar. As the night deepened, Alex looked at Luma, glowing softly in her corner. He knew that their adventure had only just begun. The colony might discover her at any moment, and the consequences could be severe. But for now, in the quiet of their shared space, they had something extraordinary, a friendship, a connection, and a chance to learn from each other. And though the future was uncertain, Alex felt a thrill he had not felt in years. Humanity had never faced anything like this, and yet, in the company of a small, curious alien girl, he felt a spark of hope, a reminder that even in the vastness of space, life could surprise, delight, and challenge in ways he had never imagined. The night was quiet, but Alex felt the tension in the apartment like a low hum in the air. Luma was glowing softly in her corner, her body pulsating gently, as if she could sense the uncertainty in the human's mind. Alex had spent the day preparing for the inevitable. The colony's security drones would eventually detect her presence. The thought weighed heavily on him, but he refused to panic. He sat at his small workbench, tinkering with a device that could create small light illusions to distract the drones. Luma watched, fascinated, tilting her head at every movement of his hands. Her curiosity was endless and her intelligence was remarkable. Alex marveled at her ability to observe and learn. She was not only studying him, she was studying humans as a species, their habits, emotions, and problem-solving skills. As he finished the last adjustments, a warning light blinked faintly on the console near the door. The drones were approaching faster than he expected. Alex's heart raced, but he stayed calm. He motioned to Luma, who immediately understood. She moved to her hiding spot, crouching low and dimming her glow to blend with the shadows. The first drone slid silently into the corridor outside the apartment. Its sensors swept across the living area, beams of scanning light probing every corner. Alex activated the device and tiny illusions of light flickered across the room, confusing the drone's sensors. Luma watched in awe as the machine paused, uncertain of what it detected. Alex held his breath. The drone turned, sensing nothing conclusive, and moved on. Luma exhaled softly, her glow brightening slightly in relief. Alex smiled at her. That was close, too close for comfort. She made a soft, musical sound, tilting her head, and he understood it as a quiet agreement. They spent the next few hours reinforcing their defenses and practicing quick movements in case the drones returned. Alex taught Luma simple maneuvers: how to flatten herself against the floor, how to use shadows to hide, and how to control her glow to remain unseen. Luma learned quickly, her small form moving with precision that amazed him. Despite the danger, their bond continued to grow. Luma began to imitate human expressions more convincingly, smiling when pleased, frowning in thought, and even making soft sounds that resembled laughter. Alex found himself sharing more about his life, Earth, and human experiences. He told her about sunsets, the smell of rain, and the feeling of wind on one's face. Luma listened intently, her glow pulsing in rhythm with his words, as if absorbing every detail. But as the night deepened, Alex sensed a change in her. Her glow flickered irregularly and her movements became more hesitant. He crouched beside her hiding spot. "What's wrong?" he asked softly. She made a series of soft tones, melodic but urgent. Alex realized she was trying to warn him. Suddenly, a loud metallic hum filled the corridor. More drones had arrived, faster and more numerous than before. They were scanning aggressively, no longer simply patrolling. Alex's heart pounded. He knew they had little time. "Stay calm," he whispered. "We can get through this." Luma nodded, dimming her glow almost completely. Alex grabbed a small mirror from the shelf and positioned it to reflect the light from his device, creating multiple illusions. The drones entered the apartment, their sensors sweeping rapidly. For tense minutes, Alex and Luma moved silently, her small hands following his gestures, her body blending with the shadows. The first drone paused at the mirrored illusions, confused by the shifting patterns. Another drone scanned the area, its light sweeping over the hiding spot. Luma's glow flickered slightly as she held her breath, but Alex remained calm, signaling her to stay still. Then, something unexpected happened. Luma extended her hands, her fingers glowing brighter than ever. She released a wave of light that twisted and bent in patterns beyond Alex's understanding. The drone's sensors overloaded, their circuits sparking as the illusions became indistinguishable from reality. Alex watched in awe as Luma's natural abilities amplified his devices, creating chaos among the security machines. When the smoke and sparks cleared, the drones had retreated. Alex exhaled deeply, his body trembling from relief. Luma's glow dimmed slightly and she sank to the floor, exhausted but unharmed. Alex knelt beside her, placing a hand gently on her small shoulder. "You were incredible," he said. "I don't think any human could have done what you just did." She made a soft sound, almost like a laugh, and her glow pulsed gently. For a moment, they simply sat together, catching their breath. The danger had passed, but Alex knew it was only temporary. Luma's presence was still a risk, and they needed a long-term solution. As the adrenaline faded, Alex noticed something strange in Luma's behavior. She seemed to be trying to communicate something important, her glowing patterns more intricate than ever. Alex watched closely, trying to interpret her signals. Slowly, he began to understand. She was not just observing humans, she was evaluating them. Her species had likely sent her to study humanity's potential, how humans reacted under pressure, their ability to think creatively, and their emotional resilience. Alex's mind raced. If her people judged humans based on her observations, then everything they had experienced together mattered. Every small lesson, every interaction, could influence how her civilization perceived them. He realized the weight of responsibility on his shoulders, but he also felt a strange sense of pride. Humanity was being represented, and Luma had chosen him as the teacher and example. He spoke softly. "So, you're not just here for fun. You're learning and reporting," she nodded, her glow pulsing gently in confirmation. Alex smiled, a mixture of awe and amusement. Well, I hope we're making a good impression. She responded with a melodic series of tones, and he laughed quietly, imagining that it was her version of agreement. Days passed, and the bond between Alex and Luma strengthened further. He taught her more complex human behaviors, how to express emotions, basic social cues, and even simple humor. Luma began to mimic human expressions almost perfectly, tilting her head in curiosity, smiling in delight, and even making small gestures of affection. Alex found himself marveling at her intelligence and adaptability. In return, Luma revealed more of her own abilities. She could manipulate light to create illusions, emit soft energy pulses, and even levitate small objects with precision. Alex documented everything secretly, knowing this knowledge could be invaluable. He realized that she was not just a visitor, she was an ambassador of her species, and her observations could shape the way they viewed humanity. One evening, as they watched the colony's lights flicker in the distance, Alex spoke softly. I don't know what your people will think, Luma. But I hope they see that humans are more than what they expect. She tilted her head, her glow brightening, as if understanding his words. Suddenly, a series of alerts flashed across the console. The colony's central security had detected anomalies beyond the apartment. Alex knew this meant one thing: they were coming in force. He grabbed Luma gently. We need to move. Now. Using the devices he had prepared, Alex created a series of light illusions and mirrors, guiding Luma through a hidden route within the apartment. They moved silently, her small hand in his, her glow dimmed to near invisibility. The drones swept past them, unable to detect their presence, while Alex led them to a maintenance hatch he had discovered weeks earlier. Once inside, they crawled through narrow tunnels, the hum of the colony above them fading. Alex glanced at Luma. You did amazing back there. I don't think anyone else could have managed it. She made a soft, melodic sound in response, her glow pulsing warmly. The tunnels opened into a small, hidden observation room, one that Alex had discovered during his early days on the colony. It was abandoned, but it offered a clear view of the surrounding area and a temporary safe haven. He set Luma down gently, letting her explore. She moved with cautious curiosity, examining every detail of the room. Alex watched her, a mixture of relief and admiration filling his chest. You're incredible, Luma. I don't think I've ever met anyone like you. She tilted her head, glowing softly as if acknowledging his words. As they rested, Alex realized something important. Luma's presence had changed him. He had learned patience, empathy, and a new way of looking at the universe. In turn, he had introduced her to humanity's potential, the creativity, resilience, and emotional depth that made humans unique. Their connection was more than friendship. It was a bridge between species, a testament to what curiosity and understanding could achieve. Hours later, Luma's glow began to change, shifting through colors he had never seen before. She approached him, her small hand reaching out. Alex understood immediately. She was signaling something important. He knelt, meeting her eyes. I think you're ready to show them what you've learned, he whispered. She made a soft sound in response, her glow pulsing brighter. Alex realized that she wanted to return to her people, to report her observations, but not without leaving a part of herself behind. As dawn approached, they made their way back through the tunnels, using their combined skills to avoid detection. Luma's abilities and Alex's knowledge of human technology allowed them to slip past the drones, unseen and undetected. Finally, they reached the edge of the colony, a quiet platform overlooking the alien landscape. Luma paused, looking back at Alex. Her glow was intense, a mix of warmth, curiosity, and something that felt almost like gratitude. Alex smiled. Take care, Luma. Show them what humans can do. She made a soft melodic sound, almost like a farewell, then lifted into the air, her form shimmering as she prepared to leave. As she ascended into the sky, Alex watched, feeling a strange mixture of loss and pride. Humanity had been represented by a small, curious alien girl, and he had played a part in that story. He realized that life was full of unexpected connections, and that even the smallest encounters could leave a lasting impact. The sun rose over the alien horizon, casting golden light across the colony. Alex stood alone, but he did not feel lonely. The memory of Luma, her curiosity, her intelligence, and her warmth would stay with him forever. And he knew that somewhere out there, she would carry the story of humanity back to her people, a story of resilience, creativity, and friendship. For Alex, life would never be the same again. And for the universe, a small, curious alien girl had discovered something remarkable. Humans were worth studying, worth understanding, and perhaps worth befriending.